There has been an idea that heaven is small or that it's limited. According to Swedenborg, this is a misunderstanding of the word. This is what he says in Heaven and Hell 420. Because they take a few passages from the word literally, some people think that heaven is not vast, but small. For example, there are places where it says that only the poor will be accepted into heaven. There's more. I'm just pausing here because this is the eternal conflict between Swedenborg's assertion and his insistence that the nature of the word is such that it is in this language of correspondences. And then you'll have people who say, well, that's him just subverting the authority of the word. What gets me hot under the collar about that, people who come in and say, Swedenborg is avoiding what Scripture is, you have to listen to what Scripture says, is that they don't do that themselves. They only interpret Scripture literally where it suits their doctrine or purposes. So there's plenty of people who will say, well, Jesus says no one comes to the Father except through me. That means people who are not Christians cannot go to heaven. However, this whole thing about it's harder for a rich man to go into heaven than a camel to pass through an eye of a needle, which is impossible, for that, suddenly they're not literal anymore. It's like, oh, no, that's true, except for Jesus can intercede on your behalf, and so, or we're all sinners and condemned, so we shouldn't, even though he literally says, sell all you have and give to the poor. With that, all of a sudden, they're not literalists anymore.
And it seems as though there are millions of people who believe in the prosperity gospel and that the wealth of the pastor indicates how close he is to God and that if you were doing it right, you would also... It's amazing.
I'm just saying, if you attack Swedenborg for saying God spoke the word in parables, just take a look at where and when your fondness for the literal ends and where it starts and how selective you are about that literalism. That's all I'm saying.